What are
the speakers
in the computer?
In the computer, that's what it says.
Hey everybody, this is Matt. We're at Texas Toast Guitars, and it's Thursday, and this is the second beer I've had today. That is to say, I've had one previous beer because I am feeling a little hungover this morning or this after. Oh, like I was this morning too.
Why is that, Matt?
Well, Chris and myself and Mrs. Toast and Jim Jam Jimmy and Leslie Jam Jimmy, I guess would be her last name. No. And Chris and Dina from Odyssey Beer Works had a lovely dinner last night at Casa de Jim Jam Jimmy. And well, it was a great night and great food, great friends, lovingly prepared by the best, etc., etc. However, I probably had one too many beers. How about you, Chris?
I had one too many.
One too many, yeah. Mrs. Toast had like five. No, Mrs. Toast was perfectly sober in every way. And so, yes, but I think I kind of tied one on a little bit. So, yeah, so I'm just kind of we had a little hair of the dog at a late lunch today. And it's not something that I do, but I normally, you guys don't believe me, but it's true. I didn't have any power tools to work with after lunch. I just had binding to do. So, and the slots were already cut. So I just did binding and side dots and stuff like that. But yeah. So anyway, thanks for joining us, you guys. Chris.
Yes.
How are you doing today?
Just fine and dandy.
Someone's got a racing car out in the right out front of the shop.
Yeah.
So Chris has been busy all day today. What some of the things that you and I have both been working on a lot lately are a bunch of all rosewood necks. There's a rosewood daily driver neck. There's a rosewood soul pole bass neck, and there is. I brought one to show you guys. If I'm not bringing the right one out, I apologize, but I've got a bunch of rosewood necks going. This is a all rosewood neck for, this is going on a Jazzmaster body that we are building, but it has the Marauder or Starcaster this is also used
yes.
that on that headstock, but he wanted it to be set into the body like our necks are, so we had to make it thick, but he also wanted it to be a regular headstock, a Fender style swoop headstock. So we had to do stuff differently than we normally do. But you know what's cooler, Chris, than a all rosewood Jazz Marauder Master neck?
An all rosewood bass neck.
Well, yeah, that too. But I was gonna say, all rosewood Marauder Master neck,
Jazz Marauder caster.
Found and blocked. This one is also in 25-inch scale. So the gentleman wanted a basically a Paul Reed Smith shaped like a Jazzmaster with a Marauder headstock, I guess. So yeah. But I break out, like I'm really allergic to rosewood, so I hate working with it, and I have to I have to make sure to remember to vacuum, not blow stuff off with a hose. And I have to rinse off all this stuff, and I have to take antihistamines because it's really bad. So how about you? Are you allergic to rosewood too? Do you have a breakout?
I've never broken out, but also haven't used it as much as you have.
I hope that you don't, because it's a rotten, sucky thing.
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I'm allergic to MDF.
Oh, that's bad too. So yeah. So, hey, guys, thanks for joining us. There's a lot of you guys here. I know E.R. Webster, Dylan, let's see, Rich is here, Gary Redburn. I saw Doug. SweetT is here. There's a lot of you guys are here. That's Doug Santaniello, Kevin Morris, Bass Face. And, yeah, so thank you guys for joining us. It is very wonderful to have you be here with me today. Last Thursday, we did a live thing with Mr. and Mrs. Talks Tone live via satellite. I think they're in Nashville.
Yeah, I think they're somewhere in Tennessee still, right? Yeah.
I don't know. I think they are.
That's where Nashville is, right?
Nashville, Tennessee is in Tennessee.
Oh, is that where that comes from?
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
All right.
But like Nashville, former Soviet Union, that's not in Tennessee.
Different? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
We got a super chat.
Oh, who's the super chat from?
Maurice Arsenault.
Hey, Maurice, how you doing,
Arsenault.
man? Does he have a thing?
No, just super chat.
Just wanted to.
Yep.
Thank you so much, Maurice. That's very kind of you, sir.
Dylan says they are in BFE, Tennessee. I don't know where that is. Oh, I do know where that is. It's behind all those trees.
Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. And you know what happens there? A lot of BFing.
Yeah.
Yeah. So before we jump into question and answer, guys, I wanted to tell you that the current plan for Dylan to come out and do a pickup winding class in conjunction with Texas Toast is going to be May 2022. We're trying to figure out how many we're going to do and what is going to be available. What?
Jimmy says he feels good.
Of course he does.
I feel good.
Yeah, he's the man.
I'm working on my Jim Jam Jimmy impression.
Yeah.
We'll see how it goes.
Yeah, so yeah, Jim Jam Jimmy's in the house too. That's cool. So May 2022, look for it right now, tentatively. I think it's going to be a month of, it's not like a month-long pickup winding thing, but there's going to be lots of pickup winding classes, and Chris and I want to do to build a classic telly with pickups you built with Dylan McCurchie from Dylan Talks Tone. He's going to be out here. That's the tentative plan. Dylan, you and I will work out all the details, but I'm trying to get the schedule ready for next year already, because guys, we are almost all the way sold out for this year for classes. There's a few spots left for December, a few spots left for September, and I think one in October, I think. So yeah, lots and lots of good stuff happening very, very soon. So I'd like to thank all of our sponsors, Flipside Music, the great American guitar store. Guys, if you're ever in the Denver area, check out Flipside Music and tell them the guys from Texas Toast sent you. Ike will be so happy. He might just
give you a big wet kiss.
Well, I thought you were going to say plots, but that's what you normally say. SweetT Guitars, who is helping us with a lot of really super cool guitar colors, and he can help you with a lot of really cool guitar colors too. Link in the description below for SweetT. Send him an email. Tell him what you're looking for. He'll get you set up. Also, John and Cheryl at Bitterroot Guitars. I have something in my eye. We are going to start doing videos with John, I think. I need to send him an email because I've been really, really backed up with emails. My email list is constipated. So, but I need to get back with John. We're going to start doing some email or some videos for John and the Bitterroot channel, stuff like how to install truss rods and things like that. I'm looking forward to that. I think that's going to be really cool. And of course, Dan and Calvin over to Guitar Wood Experts. I talked to Dan today, and he is a lovely, lovely human being, and he's doing great. So yeah. So what's going on, Chris? What does everyone want to talk about? There was something about templates.
Yeah, there was something early on about templates, and then everybody's just saying hey to everybody else.
Okay. Well, I think there was some questions that I want to get to first are templates and zero frets.
Okay, so let's start with the template question.
Okay. So, guys, if you get templates, we did a video on like working with templates, and it's available on our online class section of the website. You can buy it there. It's several hours long, and it came with like a discount code for templates and stuff. That code is long since expired, but we work with templates and show you guys what we do, some of the things that we do. The neat thing about working with templates is there's a lot of places that will sell you templates for your favorite guitar. And the idea is that those become, you turn the piece of MDF or whatever into the real guitar. to do that, I would advise anyone who does that to take your MDF template, which is generally a quarter or 5/16, something like that, and make a full-size version of that, which would become the master template, the thin template, out of like half or 3/4 MDF, and make a set that, if it gets dinged or if like, you get a chip out of it, it doesn't matter because you still have the master one, which should be perfect, right? And after that, you're gonna need some pattern bits. So this is a pattern bit. These are all bits that I use, and they're old but they're in use right now in the shop as I'm driving it. They're not. When they get old, I throw them out. So this has a bearing on the top, and what happens is this bearing rides on the template, whether it's a 1/4 inch or half or 3/4, and this blade does the cutting. Now, that's really cool if you're working with your router like this, or your router table like this, and the bearing and the cutter, it gives you enough. But sometimes you're going to want the bearing to be on the other side. So like here's a pattern cutting bit where the bearing is on the opposite side of the cutter, and that still is you'll probably use something like this. Oh, here's a little bitty one, something like this. This works great. You could also go up to the big Haas. This is a 3/4 inch, and this is a 5/8. You can remove a lot of material with these guys. You can get a spiral cut bit with a guide bearing on it. These are excellent for doing like necks and things. And you're going to need some sort of router to run that with. So I have one of our router motors that goes in our router table. This lives exactly like this with this bit in it all the time. This is the Xfinity pattern cutting bit that I did a video on, and these are really, really cool. And if you're going to work with templates and you have a router table, or even if you just have a regular hand router, get you some of these Xfinity bits. They're not too expensive for what you get, and they are excellent tools. So yeah, you're just going to need to get, if you don't have a beloved pin router at your house, which I realize not everyone does, get a bunch of different bits. And yeah.
So he was saying that he has a table router.
Perfect.
I would say I think building bodies with just a table router can be tricky.
Yeah.
I would also get a plunge router and go from the top and use them both.
Yep. Oh, absolutely.
Stages.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yep. Okay.
The other question was, why don't more people use 0 frets for basses?
I've had a couple basses with 0 frets.
Yeah.
You know what the coolest bass with the 0 fret is? The Kubicki X Factor had on the E string was actually a D string, and it had this flop over claw that would press down on the string and had like two little pieces of fret, so you could play. It would lock it on the E, so you could tune it to E, A, D, G, and then you could flip that thing up, and it would be D. It would just be like a
drop D.
Yeah, full step. Yeah, it was really neat.
That's cool.
And then I had that was, by the way, more or less a headless bass because in that it was tuned from the back. Oh, okay. And the headless bass that I had was also had a 0 fret. So yeah, 0 frets are neat things. I think that the reason that you don't see 0 frets as often as you wonder, well, why don't they use 0 frets more? Is because people associate them with inexpensive guitars from Japan from the 60s. That's unwarranted, but I think that's the case, and we get into these knockdown, drag out arguments with people about 0 frets and what height the 0 fret. I refuse to do that today. But the reality is that 0 frets work. They are effective and they're cool. And why don't people use them? If I had to guess, and I do, I would say it's because the designs like the P bass and stuff didn't have 0 frets.
I think that's a big part of it.
And yeah, and the reason that people don't go, hey, let's put a zero fret on a P-bit, well, that wouldn't really solve anything.
Right. So what do you think is the most popular bass after a Fender bass?
An Ibanez sound gear.
Okay.
I'm just, I guess.
In
terms of sales?
No, just as in terms of, like popularity. Like most bass players play a Fender.
Yeah. 9 times out of 10.
Or Fender style.
Yep.
What's the next brand?
In terms of popularity, I would say in terms of popularity that people actually buy, the Ibanez sound gear. I see those all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And in terms of I want that, I think it's cool, the Gibson Thunderbird. Now, I think there's a lot, it's like we talk about this a lot. The line of people that say that's cool is a lot longer than the line of people that say, here's my money, I want to buy that.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, or like the Epiphone version. Remember that was wildly popular 15 years ago, that Thunderbird bolt-on neck thing.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, you're right. It's a whatever it is, it's a distant second from a Fender.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I think so too. All right, so we got some super chats here.
Okay.
Ken Tipton says,
hey,
just saying, hey, thanks for the shop tour.
Ken came by. Yeah, that was cool.
Yeah, that was really fun. What was that, Monday?
Tuesday? What is today?
Today's Thursday. It was Tuesday.
Yeah, it was
Tuesday?
Day before yesterday.
It was Tuesday.
Yeah. Ken came by and hung out with us, and it was great to see him because we have talked to Ken, and Ken has bought a lot of stuff from us and is a cool guy, and it was nice to actually to finally meet him. So yeah, that was really cool.
Yeah. Jeff Childs.
Hey, Jeff.
Says, hey, Matt, I just purchased some awesome guitar templates from Steve at Maximum Guitar Works. Just curious, why aren't you promoting his hometown brand?
Well, I did not know that Steve had that.
I didn't know Steve was offering templates.
I did not.
Yeah.
Okay. Steve did a series of videos recently that was like the ultimate Strat build or something like that. Were those templates on that series of video? Here's what I can tell you. Steve is a cool guy. He's a friend of ours. I know that whatever you get from Steve is going to be good. So yeah, I don't know why we're not. Maybe we should get Steve to come here and talk about his template set.
Yep.
I'll have to drink less and shut up more because Steve has a lot of things to say, and I always butt in and go, hey, you know what everyone wants to say?
Yeah. It's just because it's not because we don't like Steve.
No,
we're buddies with Steve.
Yeah. Steve's definitely in our cool book. So if Steve has a thing that he would like to some help promoting, we would absolutely do that. So Jeff, send Steve an email and I'll send him a text later on.
Yep. Lauren Kurt wants to know.
Hey, I know that dude. I just sent him an email today.
Did you?
Yes.
Does Texas Toast make custom templates on the CNC if I sent the art?
As of right now, no, sir, we do not.
We don't. We just don't have the time to do that kind of thing, unfortunately.
I wonder what sort of templates he wants.
I don't know.
Loring was out here last week. And he has alluded to coming back and, maybe building a Mosrite or a Les Paul or something at one of our Build a Classic set neck. We need to come up with a better name for Build a Classic set neck.
Yeah.
Because what it really is build a classic guitar that isn't a Fender. Maybe that should just be the name. Because some of these guys are like, well, I don't want it to be glued in. I want it like a Mosrite, generally speaking, that while there were glued in ones, were bolt-on necks. And I'm like, I would think a Mosrite would be a cool guitar to make during one of those. So
Yep.
If you guys have any ideas for something to rename the class, let me know.
Yeah. E.R. Webster says, I'm making it. Yep. I'm making a template in the shop right now. 105 128 inch wide gap for the foot of a G&L saddle lock bridge using 1/4-inch router bit and masking tape. So he's just taking up space with masking tape.
Okay. Yeah. So the
Yep.
bearing rides away from the tape, and the tape pushes the bearing out and makes the hole smaller. G&L, what bridge is that? Is that the
G&L saddle lock bridge? I don't know. I'm not familiar with that bridge.
Is that the bridge like we got for Mark's G&L? It's Mark, right?
Maybe.
No, but the guy who had the G&L with all the Bondo and the.
Oh yeah, that's Mark Dresser. Yeah.
Yeah. So that you got paint for that the other day too.
I did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Crazy BMW color.
That's cool.
Yeah. 6328. That doesn't even sound like a measurement.
That's not a measurement.
Those are just numbers.
You're just saying numbers.
Yeah.
ER.
197 65ths. What? Jeff Child says, can't hear anything. I'm at work. We'll have to watch later. A little more for the beer fun.
Oh, God bless you, Jeff.
Yep. Michael McCoy says, how about Glue Me Up, Scotty, for the set neck class?
Well,
that's a name.
That's a funny name.
Uh-huh.
Michael's coming in October,
yeah,
I believe,
yeah.
For that class. I guess what I'm trying to get at is I don't want people to think I have to make a Les Paul or an SG. You can, but you could also make something that,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. Here's the question for the rest of the night. You can talk about this all night long.
Let me guess. It's a truss rod question.
No.
Oh. Okay.
Stephen George wants to know, what's the best scale length for a Gibson style guitar build and why?
Ooh, I can talk about that for a long time. A lot of people associate brands with scales. Fender is very well known for 25.5-inch scale, mostly because their guitars that are very popular are generally 25.5-inch scale from Fender. Telecaster, Stratocaster, that kind of thing. That is not to say that they don't offer guitars in other scales. Obviously, bass scale is 34-inch, and they've had some short scale basses. They've had baritone scale stuff, electric or bass six. That was 30-inch, right?
Yep.
Of course, the Jaguar was 24-inch.
Yep.
What about the Mustang? Some of those were 22. Something
no,
like that?
some of the Duo Sonics and Music Masters were 22.5.
Okay, but for the most part, when you say, "Hey, what scale is my Fender guitar?" 9 times out of 10, or 99 times out of 100, if you guessed 25.5, you would be right. Paul Reed Smith, generally speaking, is 25. Of course, they use 24.5 and a bunch of other scale lengths. Gibson is no different. While the 24.75-inch scale that is kind of standardized on things like Les Paul and SG, they're more popular instruments. It wasn't always the case. There was 24 and 5/8. There was 24 and 9/16. Maybe not. There was also something called Rule of 18, where instead of multiplying by 0.1786, whatever that multiplier is, they just multiply by 18 to get the distance from the nut to the first fret to second fret, second to third, and so on and so on and so on. So it's a little different. And so some guitars from, depending on what era your Gibson was made, you could get, in fact, let's say this, depending on what era your Les Paul was made, it could be one of those 4 scale lengths. If you have a Birdland, it's a 23.5-inch scale. If you have a L5, it's 25.5, I think. There's so many different scales that everybody used. If you were going to make, what's the best scale for a Gibson? I don't know. What is the most common? And if you wanted to make a guitar that sounded the most like a Gibson and played the most like a Gibson and felt the most like a Gibson, I would say 24.75 with a close second, but definitely second to 24 and 5/8. And the reason I say those two is because I like 24 and 5/8. And if you order a template for the scale length, generally you get two. There's one side has one and the other side has another. Usually if you get the 24 and 3/4, you also get the 24 and 5/8. So either one of those will make a really cool Gibson style scale neck. That's what I would do.
There you go.
And I would use a 12-inch radius. And I would not use a 0 fret.
This is a really funny comment. Richard Edwards says,
hey, Richard.
Are you guys holding spots for the unofficial prize classes for the GGBO? I need to clear my calendar.
Ooh. That's one of those things where I don't know. I actually got a thing from Great Guitar Build Off about judging and stuff. There will probably have to be, these classes will probably have to be in 2022 because I can't go, hey, you won the Texas Toast prize. You got, here's your 1 week to choose from. I can't do that. I got to give people a little more of a, of an opportunity to get here.
Yeah.
So it'll probably be 2022 and we'll work with you on that. When you win,
get a hold of us and we'll schedule it.
Happen. Yeah.
Aaron Franks wants to know what's the best way to copy a neck pocket if I want to make a new body for a bass.
Oh, well, I don't know what tools you have, Aaron. Aaron. I don't know what tools you have. I have done it lots of different ways. I have had the best success with putting the neck on like a piece of MDF and making a template around the neck with like little pieces of wood so that I can then use one of these pattern bits to go around the little pieces and make a 1-to-1 path for the new neck. If you don't have a router and you do have a saw and some sandpaper, you can do the exact same thing. Draw it out, cut on the line, and sand to the what you looking for? One of those.
I was looking for one of those things that we made that way.
There's 3 or 4 on the chop saw.
That's too far.
Yeah, it's like what's in another room.
It's practically another building.
So yeah, but the cool way to go would be, let's say you wanted to make a pocket for this. Actually take this part and clamp it to a piece of, say, 3/4 inch MDF. And then, oh, cool. Then take some blocks like this and actually put them on the side, all the way around, however it's got to be. Pull the neck out and then use one of the pattern bits to ride on this and cut through the MDF, and you should have a very close to exactly perfectly right neck pocket template for the neck you're using. So,
yep. That's how you would do it.
I hope that makes sense.
Yep. Benjamin Guitars asks, how long would you go for a scale on a 6-string that's tuned down a whole step?
Hi, Benjamin. How are you? How long?
My battery's already crashing.
How long would I go for? I think that tune down a full step. I would say 24 3/4 would be fine. I happen to know that Scott Hill from Fu Manchu recorded a lot of those really cool Fu Manchu songs with a Jaguar, which is 24-inch scale. They tune down a full step. Just know that when you do that, you will need to, compensate for the less, string tension. Sometimes what guys do is they'll use a, heavier gauge of string or something like that. But you can tune stuff way down and it gets really slinky. We've had this happen before. Guys are like, well, I want my action to be super low, but I tune down to C. Well, dude, it's gonna buzz. Acoustically, it's gonna buzz. I don't care how. If you have a 24 3/4 scale neck and you tune down to C, and you play with what did that guy have? He had 11s or 12s. I'm like, it's gonna buzz acoustically, dude. So he's like, well, I don't want it to buzz. I'm like, bring in one of your guitars that you have set up exactly like it. We'll match it exactly perfectly. Never heard from him. So, of course, that was right before COVID. So maybe it was one of those.
Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. But yeah, there's no free lunch. Okay. And when you tune down that much, the longer the scale, the better. But that is not to say that you can't do it with a shorter scale. So I think scale length has more to do with, how stubby your fingers are. Like some guys, if you're doing that Keith Richards thing where you're like fretting at 3-5 and then you stretch your pinky to the 7th for that kind of ding, ding, ding. The shorter this, if you have short fingers like me, the shorter the scale, the easier it is to do that stuff. This is where I can hear it. Can you hear it? Just practice more. Like I'm going to sit around and practice. I have time to do that.
Yep.
But I am a guitar maker, not a guitar player. That's where you guys come in. You're the rock stars. I am merely a facilitator. I'm an employee for you guys to, get chicks. Anyway.
Yeah. There you go. Most baritones are around 28.5-inch scale.
Yeah.
And usually they tune those B to B.
Yeah.
Just as a standard kind of a thing.
So if you're just going to turn down a full step.
Down a step, I just jump up a string gauge and call it good.
Yeah.
You could tune down to D and play 11s or 12s.
I know for a fact that you can tune down to D and play 10s.
Yeah, you can.
Because
but if you want it to feel similar to being tuned all the way up.
Yeah. When Hawk Attack was doing stuff, we tuned down to D and we just tuned down. It wasn't a big deal.
Yeah. One step's not that big of a deal. Liam wants to know how much thicker should a volute be than the neck and headstock thickness?
Ooh, that's a good question. I don't know that there's a one true and holy answer to that. I think it needs to be some thicker, but I don't know. Start with a quarter inch, something like that. How many millimeters? That the 6 millimeters, in case Liam is uses the metric system. Something like that would be good, and then shape until it looks right. So if 6 millimeter is too big, and it may very well be, because when I make volutes, I just sort of like do them, and they just turn out the same, because I make a lot of guitars with volutes, but I've never measured it. What I can tell you is that if a volute looks too big, I'm like, that's way too big. And if it looks too big, I grind it down until it looks right. And I don't know what that is. Maybe a quarter. I don't know.
Maybe we'll start measuring that just to see.
Maybe. If I had one, I could measure. I would do it right now, but I don't. So anyway. Yep.
Apparently, you can go on to some websites and look up string tension for drop tunings to find out what gauge set will work the best.
Because
that's more and more of a thing. And so even if it's just for their brand of strings, E.R. Webster says 1156 for drop C to match string tension of 1046 in standard E, according to Stringjoy tension calculator. Okay. Stringjoy makes strings. So
that's cool. Yeah,
that's cool. You could go there and look. It's weird that, you only have to drop it to an 11 on the high E, but you got to go all the way up to a 56.
Yeah,
which is closing in on,
That's like a bass G string.
Yeah, those are 45s usually, right?
50 something,
G string,
yeah.
You said G. But that's cool. Dan wants to know.
Hi, Dan.
What is your all-time favorite body shape?
I
like him a little thick, kind of big butt.
I like a big booty. Yeah. I like what is it? Sir Mix-a-Lot says 38, 24, 36. Only if she's 5'3".
Yeah.
Or whatever it was. So my all-time favorite body shape. I think what you mean is, what is my all-time favorite body shape that I didn't design? And in that, I'm going to say like the Les Paul Jr. is one of my favorites. I think the Les Paul Standard is one of my favorites. I really like the SG. Of course, I like the Dan Armstrong. Yeah, those are probably some of my favorites. But if you don't care what if it's one that I made, I'm still really enamored with the Challenger shape. I think that's a cool shape. I like the direction that the new double cutaway is going. And Chris and I are actually working on it. We're just talking about this one. We haven't actually started doing anything with it yet. But there's talk of a new guitar shape that we want to do. And what is it going to be? Double cut? We don't even know yet, right?
Yeah, we really don't.
The one that's going to be ash with maple and yeah, it's.
Yep.
Sometimes what happens is we make guitars and we're like, that looks too much like a Gibson, or that much looks too much like a Paul Reed Smith, or that looks too much like a Fender. And sometimes, no matter what you do with some woods, like for example, if you use alder or ash, it looks more like a Fender than anything else, especially if you bolt a maple neck onto it. You know what I mean? I don't care what the guitar looks like. People are going to go, my brain's going to go Fender. And it's sort of like how you can read something with the letters all jumbled up, as long as the first letter and the last letter are right. Have you ever done those, Chris? You know, those kind of things?
Yeah.
Same kind of deal. Your brain goes, it makes connections and it goes, that's a Fender because it's got that kind of wood and that kind of neck and that kind of finish. Or that's a Gibson because it's got mahogany and it's set neck. So that's obviously a Gibson. But that's a blue quilt top thing. That's a Paul Reed Smith. You don't have to see the whole guitar for your brain to go, that's what that is. But we're talking about some stuff that's a unique to us guitar, because Chris and I are moving into the direction of having some stuff that is maybe not easily identifiable from 99% of the guitar buying public as a Texas Toast guitar, but something that's like, it's our thing. You know what I mean? Even if it reminds you of something else, which
everything reminds you of something else, unless it's not a guitar shape.
Yeah. And if it's not a guitar shape, then you go, oh, it's just like a BC Rich kind of thing, because that's what people do. But yeah, so we want to come up, and Chris and I are both very traditional when it comes to what guitar. So you won't see anything pointy, and you won't see anything. But we don't know, like, is it going to have a trem? Is it going to have a big booty? Is it going to have? We don't know.
Yeah.
But there's some talk of what we really want to do is we want to try out some new building techniques and some new finishing techniques. And that's what this guitar would probably be. So, yeah.
Yep. Steve Folino wants to know, when will the Piss Off Pink SG, don't you mean prostitute, Steve?
Prostitute,
Let me restate that. When will the Piss Off Pink Prostitute and the No Cutaway guitar from Instagram going to be revealed? They were both cool looking.
Yeah, the Piss Off Pink Prostitute is that. Guys, I hate to break it to you, that one's already sold.
Yeah.
But man, what a rad! That's like Steve Stevens Hamer pink. That is really awesome. That one is so you sprayed another round of clear on that so one.
It's ready for assembly now.
Kaiser Blade.
Yeah,
the
Kaiser Blade as well. So,
don't be surprised if in the next couple of months, and I say that because we've got a guitar for reveal up there that's coming tomorrow. We've got one that's over there that's next week. We've got that one that's over there that's probably a week after the next. There's probably going to be a class or two floating around in there. So yeah, so don't be surprised. I can tell you that the Piss Off Pink Prostitute absolutely positively has to be done before August. So that one will be probably next
coming up.
Yeah.
Yep.
Oh, and then we've got there's a bunch of guitars that are like ready for reveal.
There's always a bunch of guitars. It's kind of our thing. Unfortunately, we don't get them done fast enough.
No, we don't.
Yeah.
Those are both really, really cool, though.
Uh-huh. Isn't everything we make cool, though, Matt?
Yeah, it is. There's something about like a rad color though, like that. That's real. You guys in the light, that thing is absurdly neat. And I thought, let's go outside and take a picture of it in the light. But it was overcast.
It was overcast that day. Yeah, yeah. It's bold.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it is.
Yep.
Yes, it is.
Bad Apple Guitar Works asks, do you ever build multiscale?
I have built 2 multi-scale guitars, and frankly, I don't see what the point is. I think that it is a solution searching for a problem. Now, having said that, I know a lot of people do it, and a lot of people think it's cool. Great. It's not for me, but I'm kind of old. So, don't be surprised if I don't latch on to something. Can you hear it? Oh, they've been making multiscale for a long time, or you're not as old as me. So fine. It's not a contest. But at 50 plus years old, stuff like multiscale has zero allure to me. Everything that I liked in high school was not recorded on a multiscale instrument. If you like multiscale instrument, then rock on. Do it. But have I done it? Yes, I made 2. Will I do it again? I have no plans. Same with those frets that they're kind of like squiggly, like they're not straight. They go like this, and I'm like, how in the world do you? Leveling is one thing. How do you recrown those?
You don't.
That's
you just butter them over with sandpaper.
Yep. So and again, it's like really, is it that? Is the guitar need to be that technical of an instrument? Would Angus Young play that guitar? And I'm not trying to give you grief, Bad Apple. And it might sound like I am, but I'm not. But one of the reasons, how about this? My rationale for not being into him is because, Johnny Ramone didn't have that, so I don't need that. Angus Young didn't play it. I don't need it. I'm sure Billy Gibbons has some of those, but you don't ever see him play them. So, Rick Nielsen probably has some of those, but last time I saw Cheap Trick, he paraded out a different guitar every song, and none of them were multi-scale or that squiggly thing or any of that stuff. So so I don't do that.
There you go. I think we've run out of questions.
Okay, that's good. Well, somebody was asking about the seal of approval T-shirt.
Oh, the seal of approval.
So I started that new series. Somebody was giving me grief about you've started a bunch of series, you never finish them. I'm like, well, actually, that's not accurate because
depends on who you ask. If we ask you, you finished them. I'm finished with that.
Well, so like everything I know about fabric top guitars, that series is done. The what would so and so guitar maker do?
Yeah.
I'm not. I'll probably do some more of those, but like, how many do I have to do? I've done 3 or 4 of them, and like what?
I think you started like 1 million of those. No, I think you started like 2.
They
want you to do the tool one every top 100 tools.
Oh, that is one I should probably do,
but that's so hard.
And you know what another one is EBO bass. I always hear EBO bass. Well,
everybody has to know that the EBO bass is a freebie, and
I say it all the time, and you say it every day.
But will it get done? Yes. Mm-hmm. Will it get done this week? No. Will it get done this year?
Maybe not.
Maybe. I don't know.
So the last thing that happened with the EBO bass. So what you guys might not know is a 67 EBO bass isn't exactly loaded with parts that you can just get.
No.
So if you're going to reuse the tuners, which Mac decided to do, he needs to have every part to all 4 tuners. And if you're missing a ferrule for those tuners, which he was, well, you can't just go to Stuart McDonald and get it.
No, you can't even go to eBay and get it. It's the rarest of the rare.
Yeah.
I spent way too much time learning about Cluson Gibson
Yeah.
tuners and what this tuner was called.
Yeah.
Only to find out that, that ferrule is $120 when you can find one.
Yeah. Yeah. And you can't buy the tuners anymore either, right? So you can't like just get a new set.
No, you can't get a new set. You can't get, it's just not a thing you can buy unless somebody's parting out one of those guitars, which doesn't happen
very often.
Very often. You cannot get parts for those tuners.
So what you have to do is you have to go to a machinist and you have to have them manufactured.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not a big deal to do, but you have to do it. And that's what Mac did. So do we have those?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So we have.
So he had one made just to
like
make sure. Yeah. And then he had 3 more made so that they all match. So now he's got 4 matching.
Yeah. And any machinist can do that. But you gotta find a guy and you gotta, it's his son had access to some machine tools and he did it for him. But yeah, so it's not an easy thing. You know, it's sort of like hey, I have a 78 Alpenglade GL 1000. How hard is it to get parts for it? It's exactly impossible. Like you can't do it. So yeah.
Anyway. So the EBO will get finished someday.
I mean, we showed it the other day, and people are always like EBO, more EBO. I'm like, what are you gonna do when it's actually done? Then? What are you gonna complain about then? Yeah,
bummed out that it's done, and it's gonna be a wall hanger. It's a case sitter. He's gonna take it out one time and play it, and that'll be that. Yeah, because it's an EBO.
Yeah, and if you play Fender and you all of a sudden switch to a 30-inch scale EBO, it's like
plinky.
They can be a little plinky. Yeah.
Yeah. SS gave us $5. And
hey, thanks,
said
SS.
It's because we love your series. That's the only reason we ask. Those are our classics.
I think SS. You know, we actually have the artwork to do the seal of approval shirt, right? The Texas Toast seal of hubris.
Maybe
it's the one that says. I'll send it to you.
Yeah, send it to me. I don't have that one.
Okay. Yeah.
Yep.
Somebody asked, "Can I get that in a shirt?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course."
Okay. Yeah. Texas Toast.
But it's got the Samuel L. Jackson and Texas Toast seal of approval. If that makes any more sense. Are they knurled? Joe says, "Are they knurled?" No, they're not.
No.
They
just slide right in, but they are precision.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. And they look exactly like that.
Yeah, they look really good.
Yeah.
I think they're in the white still, though. There's no finish on them.
No, there won't be either.
There's not going to be? Okay.
We're just going to stuff them in.
We're not going to send them to advanced plating.
Nope, we're going to put them in and cover them with strings.
Goodbye me, yeah. Yeah, frankly, I'm ready for that EBO to get down the road.
I every once in a while I bump into the case.
Like we're still waiting on for so Mac has to kind of source some of these bits, right?
I think all the bits are sourced. We just need to.
He has a bridge.
He has a bridge.
What's he going to go with for a bridge?
He got a. I guess they reproduced that bass at some point, and he's using that bridge.
Cool.
Which is close to the original. Yeah.
Yes, and his path went a different trajectory than what I would have done if it was my bass, which it's not. Yeah. So he can do whatever he wants.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so I've kind of been like, all right, but it's been more than 2 years.
Well, the funny part about that is we started it in the old shop when we weren't exactly full-time guitar builders, and it's made the transition over here. And Mac's a cool guy, and he understands that we have bills to pay now, and we should get it back out. One of the things though is if something gets put in a case under a bench
and not seen for a while,
months go by, and you just don't even realize it. So yep.
Well. Are we done for today, Chris? You think we're good to go? I think we're good to go. It's been a long day, and
plus everybody's got to get ready for Dylan's.
That's right.
Talk tonight.
So, guys, if you're done with work and you're ready to, if you've been working hard, now it's time to play. think Coors Light. If you are into that stuff and you want to like hang out with some more guitar building gurus, wait a minute, not more. How about a guitar building guru? That'd be Dylan McCurchie from Dylan Talks Tone. Chris and I are just regular guys. Dylan is he's the Mac. He's got his
stuff done.
Yeah, he's making moves. His live stream starts in like 10 minutes, right?
Yes.
So
go over. He just left.
Okay, go over and check out Dylan from Dylan Talks Tone. I'd like to thank Ike and the gang from Flipside Music, the great American guitar store. If you're in the Denver area, check out Flipside Music. And if you're in there, give him a big kiss and pat him on the butt, whatever it is that you're into.
Now you got to pat him on the butt and kiss
him.
Whatever
Whatever you're into. Yeah, right. have a good time. If you're not in the Denver area, their website is open 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Check them out. If you're interested in super cool and amazing colors, sort of like the Piss Off Pink that we got on the Prostitute guitar, check out our buddy Todd at SweetT Guitars. He can get you fixed up. Todd is working on, I think he's working on a list of like cool colors, but the list is so big. You know what I mean? And he's like, and his whole thing is like, well, I can make anything. And I get that. I think that people need to have like, here's 30 really awesome things and you can customize from there, something like that maybe. Or Todd will figure out whatever he wants to do. But I do know this. If you want something cool, check out Todd from SweetT Guitars and he can get you fixed up with really awesome paint. Also like to thank John and Cheryl from Bitterroot Guitars. Type in TXTOAST at checkout and get a little bit of money off from Bitterroot Guitars. And of course, Dan and Calvin at Guitarwood Experts. Texas Toast 15, I think, is the code there, and it's all in the description below, guys. You can find all that. You know what we always forget to thank is Josh and the guys at Hipshot Tuners, Hipshot USA. We love everything we get from Hipshot, and there's no reason to look outside of Hipshot for tuners, bridges, stuff like that. We're going to use Hipshot until I can't see a day when we're not using something that Hipshot makes. It's that good. You guys should use it too. Well, of course, we're Hipshot distributors, so anything you need, let us know. So until next time, guys, this is Matt from Texas Toast reminding you that if you're so smart, start your own YouTube channel. Thanks for watching, you guys. We'll see you next time. Big reveal coming up tomorrow night. Same Texas Toast time, same Texas Toast channel. We'll see you then. Have a great week, everybody.